Walk blessed, and welcome to Silent Moon's Inn. You're not from around here, are you? How can I help you? Yes, you're right. I haven't been on the outside for ages, and honestly, I don't plan to change that anytime soon. Most of this place's beauty is owed to the river that comes from the mountain. There's a nice little legend about how it came to be. Care to hear it? All right then. I'm sure you already saw the ancient ruin near the waterfall, didn't you? It is said that once a wealthy couple of sublime path lived there. They were tired of the mainland's never-ending troubles and thus moved here, which is an odd choice, especially considering that before the oasis grew, this place was little more than dust and sand. But nevertheless they did, and they hired the best craftsmen in Doomville to build them a home here. Fruit, bread, and water had to be brought here weekly. Lavish, but it worked. After a couple of years living there, the woman gave birth to a child, Ceneri, a healthy boy, young and strong. Only 6 months after his birth, he already knew how to speak and walk. It all seemed as if the family would lead a happy life there for years to come. But then, something strange happened. The myrads stopped coming. Days passed, weeks, and finally moons. No matter how long they waited, they just wouldn't come. And slowly but surely their provisions would run out. The route to Doomville was far too perilous to be traveled alone, so they were trapped. "We will die here," the father said as they sat together one day, he and his wife emaciated and weak, since they saved all the food that was left for their son. Ceneri was desperate. He screamed, cried, and asked the gods for help, but he was powerless. One gray, desolate morning, it was over, and both his mother and father were dead. Weakened and starving himself, the son then stood in front of his beloved parents' bodies, fell to his knees, and whispered, "Why is this happening to me? What have I done to deserve such cruelty?" And he started crying. And then, a miracle happened. As the first tears reached the dusty ground, a flower started sprouting, and only a second later it was fully grown. Then grass, and then, just like a flood, a wave of life crashed through the dusty valley, and everywhere wonderful plants and trees came into being. And finally, before the boy had even realized what had happened, a stream of water crashed through the rock. And as Ceneri lay there, his body fragile and his eyes wet, he realized what he had done, without understanding how. He smiled, closed his eyes, and died. Well, that's it. According to the legend, the grove has been the way it is now ever since then. So, how did you like the story? Oh, you're welcome. It was one of my favorite stories when I was younger, despite the ending. Yes, I won't argue with that. And do you want to know something bizarre? I don't have the slightest idea why my companion and I chose the name back in those days. The memory seems a little blurry, unreal. But I guess that was due more to the brandy than anything else. Sure do. And you know what? Take this on the house as a welcoming present. It's a handmade date cake, the best in the entire desert. We don't get visitors too often.